And hello everybody, welcome back to the channel guys. I hope you're all well. Before we do get into today's video, as always, please do smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for daily Rangers content. Okay, 10 matches to go in the Scottish Premiership, another match down, another 3 points on the board against a potential stumbling block. Yes, Rangers did beat Kilmarnock 2-1. Now in the build up to the game, of course, we did address this match as a potential stumbling block, and probably our biggest test up until the Old Firm match. Now look, Kilmarnock have already taken points off us. They beat us on the first game of the season. Not only that, they also knocked Celtic out of the cup. And 2 games ago, they actually took points off of Celtic at Celtic Park by getting a 1-1 draw. So it was well dubbed to be a potential stumbling block for Rangers. And as I stated, probably our hardest test until the Old Firm. I do believe that the games that we have coming up until that match at Ibrox against Celtic are pretty much plain sailing. Again, touch wood, of course, but I did feel that was the biggest test we needed to come through, and we've come through it. Obviously, it wasn't completely plain sailing, but we are going to address it, go through the game, and of course, discuss today's headline, that is that James Tavernier is a joke. Now, of course, going into it, as stated, we knew this was going to be a tough occasion. It's been well documented. We play them pretty much twice a season. We also play Livingston twice a season. But, you know, the plastic pitch is obviously something that is always the topic of discussion when you go into these games. But I don't like to use that as an excuse because we know we're going to have to play on plastic. It's just what it is, and there shouldn't be any excuses. But, of course, the park does play into their favour. They do make it a struggle. But not just saying that. Livingston have been poor this season. Kilmarnock in their own right have been absolutely fantastic. I think Derek McInnes has been working wonders with that team and has them playing really, really well. They suffocate our box. They don't allow the defenders any space. They don't allow the goalkeeper any space. And, yeah, they did prove to be a bit of a thorn in the side in that sort of first half. Of course, did get a penalty. Again, after every game, we're always discussing it. Kind of is a split opinion on whether fans think it was a penalty, wasn't a penalty. In my opinion, I do think John was unlucky, but in the rules of the games at this moment in time, if you hit your arm at anything and you've got a slight bit out, even though it was like that, you know the referee is going to point to the spot. But what I will say is I want consistency, because we could have had a penalty in this game as well. That's all I'm asking for. I'm not complaining that it was a penalty. I kind of seen it. We've had penalties given to us for similar ones. So we know the rules of the game. John is unlucky. There's not much he can do, but we know the rules of the game. It's been kind of going that way over the last couple of years. However, I would say I want consistency, and that's all I'm going to touch upon it there. It's about us. I don't want to make it about referees. But yeah, unlucky to go a goal down. Of course, Jack Butland makes a huge save when whilst we're 1-0 down. That could have probably been game over for us if that goal had went in. But Jack Butland, you're allowed a good goalkeeper, and that's what we've got. We've got the best goalkeeper in the league, and a goalkeeper that's currently been talked about potentially getting back into the England setup, which is unheard of in Scottish football in terms of getting back into the English setup. I think Paul Gascoigne was the last English player that actually got into the England team, so that's saying something. But yeah, having a look at it, going into the second half, we pulled our finger out. We were a lot better. We showed that grit and determination and resilience to go and get the job done. Now we're going to come to the free kick. James Tavernier steps up time and time again. I'm going to dedicate a bit about him towards the end of the video, but we get the equaliser. The captain steps up once again. And then Tom Lawrence, another player who's been, in my opinion, fantastic so far this season. Of course, I've never really doubted his quality. He's kind of like in the bracket with Kemar Roof. It's not about the quality that he possesses. It's not what he does on the pitch. It's more to the point, can he stay fit? And Tom Lawrence, since he's been staying fit, he's been an absolute breath of fresh air. And I'm going to use another cliche saying, he's literally been like a brand new signing for us. He's fantastic. He offers something different. And especially with Todd Cantwell out at this moment in time, he's filling that void most definitely, and he gets the winning goal, and you've seen how much that meant to him, of course, in his celebration, and we get the job done. We get the 3 points. So probably at one point of the game, you probably didn't think we'd get the 3 points, especially maybe after the first half, but we get the 3 points. The job is done, and as stated, I solemnly do believe that is our toughest test now until the Old Firm game. I'm actually looking at our run of games coming up. And we're seeing it. I'm seeing the matches next up for us, of course, is Motherwell at home. We should be winning that. Then we've got some Europa League Scottish Cup action. But the other one in the league is then Dundee away. They obviously got ragged about by a poor Celtic side 7-1. So I don't really have any qualms about that game. Then we got Hibs at Ibrox. Then, of course, we've got Celtic, Ibrox, then Ross County away from home. I do believe we can get 3 points in all of those games. But as the cry has been most of the season, it's take a game at a time, And next up for us is Motherwell at the weekend. And as stated, Celtic did win 7-1, by the way, so we could have our work cut out. I don't necessarily still think they're the finished article. We'll see how they respond and back up that result against Hearts at Tynecastle, which could be a hard one for them. The last time they played against Hearts, they lost at Celtic Park, so Hearts are good. Hearts are a good side, and we'll see what they're all about. If they put in a really, really good performance against Hearts, then I think we will have our work cut out in terms of this title race. We'll go right to the wire, but I wouldn't jump on the hype of them just yet because they, again, probably put in a good first half performance. Second half wasn't so good, but I do think Dundee were also the epitome of their own downfall as well, But we'll certainly see, but we could have a real title race on the horizon. Now, enough about Celtic, enough about the game as such. We need to talk about James Tavernier. Look, I've been making videos for a while now. Since 2020, I've been covering Rangers on YouTube officially, really, at the start of 2020. And things have changed on this channel. We've had managers come and go. We've been shit, we've been good, we've been shit again, and we've been really good again. There's a lot of changes that happen. Players have come and gone, and all the other sort of stuff. And I've had opinions on various players, I've had opinions on various managers, but one thing that stayed consistent on this channel is my admiration and my love for James Tavernier. I've always lauded the player, despite the criticism that he constantly gets. I've always stood by him and always lauded him. He's always been my favourite player. He's been my favourite player since 2015 in the Championship, and I've always carried the flag at defending James Tavernier at every single moment. You will never find me saying a bad word about the captain. I've never said it because I would know and understand the quality that he possesses. Again, in another big moment, time and time again, he steps up and brings the goods to this side. He gets that free kick, he scores that free kick. And it's not just the free kick he scored, but it's countless other times throughout this season, whether it's the high pressure penalties, whether it's just the goals he's scoring from open play, his deliveries, he's always stepping up in big moments. Now, there's also this debate that's always kind of gone on, and usually it comes from the older generation in terms of he's not the right captain. And I kind of stand in the middle, I suppose, of the older generation and the younger generation. You may say, Dan, you're still a young pup. I am 27, but I have kind of seen football shift. Whilst I've been growing up, if you like, yeah, you can make a case that I was only a child during the noughties and kind of stuff like that. But I've seen that the way that football has changed, and I understand the older generation's looking at him as a captain. But if you look at the whole football sphere, your Barry Ferguson captains, and even if you go to the Premier League, like your Vieiras, your Roy Keanes, your Gerrards, your John Terrys, these kind of characters are gone now. The loudmouth captains, the hard men, these kind of things that you look at, and those kind of leaders that lead that way are kind of gone throughout football. If you look at you go into the Premier League now, you look at the captains that are there. You can go into Liverpool, it's Virgil van Dijk. You got Manchester United's Bruno Fernandes. Again, I might be making an ass of myself. In Manchester City, I'm sure it's Kevin De Bruyne. Again, I'm not too sure. Spurs, it was sort of Harry Kane back, but obviously he's gone to Bayern now. Speaking on Bayern, it's like Thomas Müller. He's probably one of the older thingies. But if you're looking at captains now, it's not necessarily these loudmouth people that once were. And it's a different generation. A captain leads by example and puts in the performances. And that's why I've always stood by James Tavernier, because I understand the way that football is gone, this generation that it is now. And James Tavernier is the epitome of a modern day captain. Yeah, it's not one of these loudmouth guys that everyone's kind of always wanting, kind of the older generation talk about, but a player that leads by example, a player that shows everything on the pitch and does and literally is a model, a role model to all of the players coming through. And that for me is what a modern day captain is all about. And that's why I do believe that James Tavernier is a perfect captain. He is a modern day great. And guys, as I keep on saying time and time again, enjoy James Tavernier whilst he's at Rangers. I know he's never going to leave. He's going to be staying at Rangers until he's done. But unfortunately, age catches up with everybody. And I do believe he'll be playing till he's 35, 36, just because he's an athlete. He looks after himself and all this kind of stuff. But please, appreciate him. We will miss this guy when he goes. Enjoy him. He's probably one of the best free kick takers in the world. He's nearly the all-time British all-time goal-scoring defender of all time. Just enjoy him. He's an absolute joke. We're lucky to have him playing for Rangers Football Club. We're lucky that he's our captain, and this is not the last time he's going to come up with the big moments. I promise you. Between now and the end of the season, going into the next year in Europe and all these kind of things, James Tavernier will constantly come up with the goods time and time again. So enjoy him whilst he's playing for this football club. He's a modern day great, and he'll be in the discussions, the conversations in the future when people were talking about the greats that once played for Rangers, whether it be in the noughties, the 90s, the 80s. James Tavernier, I promise, will be in the same conversation. Your children will be talking and saying to you, Dad, what was James Tavernier like? And I promise you, you'll be looking back with fond memories. He's a joke and a fantastic, fantastic player for Rangers Football Club. But enough of that sentimental stuff. I hope you enjoyed today's video, guys. Do let me know your thoughts on the performance yesterday. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you all next time. Take care. Peace.